Hey, whoa, it's Wednesday. It's Rumor Innuendo. I'm Dominic DeAngelo of adfreeshows.com, SEScoops.com, and OneTrueSport.com. And I'm with a Robert, yet again, but not Robert Karpelis. I'm with Robert Defelice of Fightful at Defelice on X. Robert, thanks for joining me today to cover a little bit of this AEW beach break we got cooking up. Surf's up, brother.
Surf's up, brother. I'm dressed for the beach, but that's because I live in Florida. I know Pittsburgh right now it's a little sweltered for you, you poor thing. But I'm excited for beach break. But Dom, I think we need to take the tape off my name here. I think this is
Really?
this might be a permanent thing. This is day 3. We're 3 days in the week, and here I am.
No, Robert Karpelis is a very busy man. He's on assignment right now, so he'll be back perhaps on Friday. We're not just so you know, for our international listeners, it is July 4th, and that's a big holiday for us US of A folks. So we will not be doing a show tomorrow. Just a little FYI.
How
But
will you be celebrating? Will you be slamming a giant Samoan on the USS Intrepid?
yeah, that's why I've been going to the gym, Robert, is just for that sole purpose to slam a giant Samoan.
I'm very excited for you.
Life goals, and it's happening tomorrow, guys, in Pittsburgh. I'm gonna slam whatever Samoan I see, a giant.
Find a random man on the street and just slam him.
That's it. that's the goal.
That's
I don't
the
really
freedom
have
of
any
America.
plans, to be honest. I'm recording live with RVD at 9 p.m. tomorrow. If you want to really reel in your 4th of July weekend, close it out on a good way with the whole effing show. So there you go, 9 p.m.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, look, we'll be part of it. Well, I'll be thinking about AEW Beach Break. Real quick though, before we got on, I was on the NXT Heatwave conference call, which should be a pretty good show for what NXT has set up there. And Shawn Michaels covered a lot of ground in there. Gave some good perspective on what he does with talent, how he works with talent, the logistics of working with TNA and stuff like that. Didn't touch too much upon what was gonna forthcome there, but gave some great perspective on everything. And it was a pretty good conference call. I got to ask about Charlie Dempsey, so got some information on that.
Oh, good. Dom, that makes me happy because
Right.
as a Charlie Dempsey fan, not a lot of people show love to Charlie Dempsey. So what did you ask old HB Shizzle about Charlie Dempsey?
Yeah, just asked just about his development, his ability to back in December. He obviously went over to All Japan and stuff like that, and so he had that crossover kind of thing happening. And Sean just said he fits right into everything basically, and that he really did that part with obviously William Regal being his father and stuff like that. They have that charismatic relation with one another where he can also exude that and do certain things. So there's a lot of potential for him and stuff like that. I was really it was really cool to get that kind of question and answer from him. So regarding Charlie's ceiling and what have you. So
Very nice.
yeah. So guys, well, I'm sure you'll see some news headlines of some of what was talked about on there and things like that. So good conference call, fun times there. But yeah, let's get to it tonight. We will have AEW Beach Break. I've been labeling this as Beach Break 3. Is that correct, Robert, or am I wrong?
I believe they've been doing beach break since 2021, so this might be the 4th.
Uh-oh. I hope not, because I've been really labeling it with that. Either way, let's talk about it. This is obviously going to be the fallout from Forbidden Door and all that went down there. But a big aspect of this show will be the Owen Hart Cup. The attention has been turned to that. And we have Jeff Jarrett taking on a wild card in the quarterfinal. The last, oh no, I guess it is. It's the last opening round match of the tournament. What do you think? Who's the wild card, Robert? Any guesses?
First of all, you are correct. This is beach break number 3. They skipped last year. I guess they just weren't going to beaches.
No, they weren't.
In 2023, but I think the wild card has got to be Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah.
And I think it makes sense. I think we could be in for a bit of a swerve with Hangman. Maybe the Elite thinks they got him, but maybe they don't. We'll see how that plays out. Hangman versus Jarrett is a nice match, nice fun match with 2 cowboys locking horns. I'm
Two
excited for that. It's not, it's not going to lead me to the dream match I want of Bryan Danielson, Jeff Jarrett. But
That's what I want.
you
100%
know,
I want
Hangman's probably going to win that one. But I think it'll be a good comeback, and I think Hangman is sorely missed. He's this company's Sting, and for better or worse, the product is definitely more inspired when he is around.
That's an interesting analogy, him being their Sting. I kind of like that. It does make sense too. Um, not their Magnum TA, not with the mustache he's got and stuff.
He might try to look like Magnum, but we know there's only one boss,
Mm,
so you
yes,
just
there
don't
is.
have it.
There is. And hey, we're going live. We'll plug that later on. The Wrestling Old Head makes an interesting one. Osprey as the wild card, just so we can get Osprey, Jay White, and Danielson and Pac in the semifinals. What do you
Well,
think?
they did. The Bucks already said whoever the wild card is, it's their guy. So
Oh,
even if it's like the random Bullet Club member from the past, like I don't even know who I would say, like a Tokyo Pimp, you
Michael
know,
Nakazawa.
like a Michael Nakazawa, like a Kenny Omega, you know. I don't think it'd be Kenny. I think they would be very
Could
much
you imagine? Oh man,
um Kenny versus Jeff Jarrett is also a match I would want to see though.
heck yeah, it would be.
Um but yeah, I definitely think it's Hanger. We did see the promo where Hanger's picked up the drink again, you know. He's
Uh-oh.
fallen off that wagon.
Uh,
The anxious millennial cowboy has picked up his habits, and he's gone through a bit of a time as a character, losing to Swerve consistently, having Swerve invade his home. I still think he should be very mad at the Elite for not being good friends and saying, "Oh my God, man, your house is broken into. Are you okay?" But maybe that's part of how they get him back on board with them.
Greg Jacobson, a member of One True Sport as well. He says Prince Puma.
I don't think it's Ricochet.
You
I
don't.
mean, Fightful Select has reported that Ricochet is likely to end up in AEW. I can't imagine that they go, "Hey man, we got the hell of a first match for you. It's Ricochet and Jeff Jarrett." That I just don't see.
Hmm. How about this one, Robert? Shane McMahon.
I think there's a fun way to bring Shane McMahon into this company. I don't think it's to wrestle Jeff Jarrett in a tournament without Owen Hart, but at the same time, Shane was close with Owen. It'd be very interesting if there was like this match is just a match for having in honor of Owen. But the rumor and innuendo
Hmm.
that was that he was spotted with Mercedes, wasn't it?
That is correct at LaGuardia Airport in New York City. And
Great airport. I've been to LaGuardia many times.
have you? I've never been to the LaGuardia. What makes that so good, Robert? Let's talk about airports.
Well, first of all, anything in New York is instantly better than anything anywhere else.
Wow.
Yes, I live in Florida now, but I claim New York.
Hmm.
It's just the best place to be, and that's what puts LaGuardia over almost any airport except for JFK because that is also in New York.
Yes.
But I think there's a fun "Here Comes the Money" pun with Mercedes money and Shane McMahon to be had here.
You know what? That's really interesting. What a great mouthpiece he'd be for her, too. Like Mercedes' strong point isn't behind the microphone, but you have somebody like Shane McMahon and her as a tandem. I like that, Robert. Man, you know what? Maybe we should. I hope Tony Khan's listening today. They should get you on the creative horn for this.
Listen, I would love to be creative anywhere, but Shano being in AEW in any way is just a fun idea. Even if they just shoot a vignette where he's on a beach and you see him faintly. It's Shano being on any other TV outside WWE is an amazing thing. And I think it's a fun conversation to be had.
Yeah. It kind of creates a lot of intrigue tonight of who it is. There's several names, and we named a few of them. If you guys have other suggestions, good or bad, throw them in the chat. We'll bring them up in here. I want to get your opinion on. Yeah, Jake, I agree with you on this. I think Jarrett should win the whole damn thing. Why the heck not? I at least think he should go to the final and challenge Danielson and then you have Danielson and Swerve at All In.
I keep saying it. It's a Rampage match. Just at one point before Bryan retires. By the way, who would think that Bryan Danielson would retire before Jeff Jarrett? But Brian and Jarrett on a Rampage, fun match.
It would be great. It would be really great. I want to get your opinion on this. Another one by Jake. Hangman is a charisma vacuum. Do you agree with that, or where do you fall? I see some elements, but I also think there is. I think Hangman is better than what he's been able to show so far.
I think Hangman is best when he is more authentic. There's times where I think he's trying to play the rough and tough cowboy, but I think he's best when he's presented as, you know, his fans connect with him because they see an emotionally vulnerable dude. I imagine Jake is an old school wrestling fan, probably subscribed to ad free shows, honoring the heritage of wrestling and like, not to do the Undertaker bit, but when men were men. And I think that's probably the disconnect there with Hangman for him because Hangman's more of like yeah, I'm an anxious millennial. Uh, the medication isn't where he's got that famous promo. The medication isn't working, but I'm still here. And I think his fan base connects with him because that's this era of toughness. I just happen to I like Hangman between the ropes. His character work is better than most in that company, but that's not a character first company. That's a wrestling first company.
Jake clarifies he's more of a Cornette guy than a Conrad guy. So there you
Well, then there you go. I understand the
go.
connection with saying Hangman would be a charisma vacuum because obviously old James E is not a fan of anyone in AEW.
Well, so I completely agree with Wrestling Old Head Air. ECW Sandman Hangman page was legit. I think that's where he really found his stride, is kind of being almost like a loose cannon, kind of unpredictable, really fueled off of that. I think that was really fun, and he found a groove there as really connecting with the fans, and yeah, just adding a cool kind of anti-hero babyface in regards to maybe what you're saying, compliment to what he is, like a modernized, an anxious millennial kind of thing, and kind of embracing that as well. So
I think everyone could stand to up the toughness a little bit,
yeah.
just in terms of like making the matches feel more personal. But I happen to think Hangman is probably one of the better ones in that company to do that style of work. I think that he's proven it with matches with Moxley. He's had some pretty fun knockdown dragouts. He's had some fun matches with Adam Cole. Had a fun match with Lance Archer. He's
Yep.
had those matches, and like I said, I see him as this company's Sting, where he's the flagship for this company. But I'll be honest, my one criticism of the Elite as characters is every time they get the ball rolling with something, it almost never follows through as intended. Now, that might not always be through fault of their own. Like, people get injured. I understand that. But every time they try to do something with them, it falls apart. And I maintain that this company, the one thing they haven't done is just given people what they want with the Elite. They wanted the Young Bucks and Cody and Kenny and Hanger to just sort of do what they were doing in Japan, but on a more regular basis. And I mean, I think the only one who really tapped into that was Cody, who
Hmm.
just like was doing what he was doing at an elevated stage. With the Bucks and Omega, it felt like they were like, "Oh, we got to be more characters. We're gonna turn heel. We're gonna be like fun entertainment characters." And I'm like, I think people just want to see you, for better or worse. Like this might not appeal to a guy like Jake in the comments, but for better or worse, I think people just want to see the Young Bucks have the Young Bucks style match. I don't know if they want to see the mustaches and the dyed beards and the pearl necklaces. I think they just wanted to see the Young Bucks be the Young Bucks, and I think they don't deliver on that front.
I think that's a good point too. I think that's a good point for sure. Um, Yeah, funny thing, real quick. Wrestling Old Head says, "Oh, come on, Eric!" Like the Conrad voice when he's talking about Cornette.
Oh, come on, Eric, come on, man.
That's not fair, Eric. So, hey, but yeah, it'll be interesting. The wild card. Uh, I think that's the most interesting aspect of tonight's show, but maybe not necessarily, because we also have Pac versus Brian Danielson, which should be one heck of a barn burner of a match. Are you pretty excited for that one, Robert?
Yeah, because Bryan Danielson, I think, is just doing this thing where he's like, I want to fight you and you and you, and he's just picking off his list. And this match should be great. Hon- Honestly, if it wasn't Bryan's last run, I'd be into Pac winning here
Yeah, right.
because I think that there's some fun stories to be had with like this dude came in. He was supposed to be the semi-main of the first Double or Nothing with Hangman. Um, he ends up being the semi-main of the first All Out with Mox. Like, oh, not with Mox, with Kenny. Like, he came in with a huge push, but everybody else came in and he kind of got filtered down the card that by like mid 2020, 2021, he's not doing as much. Also, pandemic plays a factor into that, but I think he has more left for him to do in this company. While Danielson, I just want to see him win the belt because, again, I'll say it on every podcast, every show, Tony Khan needs to put his foot down and just say, "You're winning that damn belt." The end of my show at Wembley is going to be you holding up the belt and the crowd chanting yes, it, and it should be because that's a hell of a moment.
Yeah, right. Um, and I hope tonight we'll see a video package for both of them because I was looking at what they did on Raw. We talked about this yesterday. Was they did video packages for everybody in the main event, and I think they need to reiterate what this tournament means to Pac and what this tournament means to Danielson in both ways because Pac made stakes. He's like, I'm supposed to be a bastard, but I'm coming off as a bitch because I keep losing. And I think the way to win, to reestablish that, is this Owen Hart Cup tournament. So whether they either win or lose, you can further a story out of that happening. And obviously, I think Danielson will win this match. So I think that sets up Pac for good stuff to come if they remind that in people's heads ahead of time that this is what is at stake for Pac in this match. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. This is a really good card tonight. I'm not gonna lie
Yeah,
here.
I mean, this is a strong show. Dynamite. The thing with AEW, and I think AEW detractors tend to feel like it's tough to like. We hear this from Greg Gagne every week. It's tough to watch for Greg, and
Yes,
he can't get into it. And I think that there's a lot of people who want alternatives to the WWE style that feel like it's tough to watch because maybe like that whole the spot based wrestling isn't their brand of wrestling. And I'll be fair, it's not always mine either. I am very much someone who would prefer a little bit of the slowed down pace, but AEW does two things well. They deliver what their audience wants in the ring, and when they announce these big shows, they very rarely come away with, "Oh, well, that felt like a dud." You
right,
know, they typically deliver, and I imagine that this one will hit the mark everywhere it needs to, including the return of what I feel is their legit pillar of their women's division. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, returned at the pay per view. It was so nice to see. She confronted Mercedes Moné, and she's back. Mercedes is back. I'm gonna say it again. I think I've said this with you on past podcasts. Mercedes should be holding the world championship. I like what Tony Storm is doing, but there's nothing that Tony Storm is doing that couldn't be with the TBS title, which is the quote unquote mid card belt for the women. I think Mercedes should probably be presented as the top star in the industry. I know that Tony Khan has gone on record as saying he considers her to be one of the best free agent signings in all of wrestling. And I know on this very platform, Eric Bischoff had quite a few words about that. But it's like one of the disconnects for me is she's the top free agent signing in all of wrestling. Why aren't you the women's world champion?
yeah,
And
yeah,
I understand that people will be like, well, they were doing stuff with Tony Storm and their stories and yada yada. You can't just come in and get a title shot. Yes, she can. She's WrestleMania main eventer. She's one of 5 women that can say that,
right,
and she can come in and get whatever she wants as far as I'm concerned. She's already like she made headlines everywhere. She did that TMZ interview where she said she has creative control, which some fans took and ran with. But like everything about that screams world title. Everything about Britt Baker screams world title. Now, yes, they're going to twist it. Baker's going to go, well, I've never won that one, and take aim at Mercedes and the TBS belt. But I think it would mean more if this, for this company, if this was for the top championship in the company.
Yeah, because it's your top women in the program in your promotion. You can definitely make a argument for Tony Storm being that as well. She's in the top. Those are your top three. You could make the argument for Thunder Rosa, but they have not booked her as well too in the past, and obviously with injuries and stuff like that, that comes into play. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. It does feel like a little missing aspect of it all, but maybe you can lead into that as it gets closer to All In. Create some intrigue there, but it looks like we're going to get Mariah May potentially for that.
Yeah, the more time goes on, the more it looks like it's going to be Mariah versus Tony in Wembley.
Yep. Hey, guys, we got beach break tonight. We got to take a little break here and talk about Blue Chew. Oh man, Blue Chew this episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Let's talk about sex, guys. Remember one of the days when you were always ready to go? Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, but in a chewable tablet and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. And so the process is simple. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed physicians, medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. The best part, it's all done online, so no visit to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew tablets are made in the US of A. Ho, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Independence Day tomorrow, and pre-prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. They always say first impressions are important. What about lasting impressions? Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at bluechew.com. Chew it and do it. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free when you use our promo code RUMOR at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's bluechew.com. Promo code RUMOR to receive your first month free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
Yeah, hey. I mean, man, the beach break, guys, we all know at one point or another, every guy's thought about some sex on the beach. And if you want to hang 10,
oh boy,
and have a nice little beach break, and maybe give your lady a little surfer sting or two, I think you need to go over to bluechew.com and use that code RUMOR. Because, guys, it's summertime, and you need to make that lasting impression.
Hey, guys, you also want to have more of a bash at the beach? Well, why don't wear a little Chubbies while you go there? This episode is also sponsored by Chubbies. We're very happy to have them as a sponsor. But guys, they got some great stuff. I wore the shirt on Monday, I believe it was. Was it Monday? Yes, it was Monday.
Yes,
I wore
it was
on Monday. But there's also great shorts that you can have. A lot of different options, a lot of different styles, different ways to support the brand of that. You can get 20% off your order right now if you go to chubbyshorts.com/rumor and use promo code rumor to get that 20% off. So they got great stuff there, ready for summertime. You want to look good while you're watching Beach Break, while you're taking in SummerSlam, whatever it may be. I'm going to be wearing Chubbies while I'm at SummerSlam for media. You'll be seeing me decked out there looking good, and you can do the same. Just get 20% off your order. Go to chubbyshorts.com/rumor and help out the podcast and help out Chubbies. Cool.
Honestly, thank both of these wonderful sponsors for helping out the podcast. And I think the faithful here in the comments, you need to show your support for this podcast by using the hashtag Chubbies with a Chubby. And you need to go to both Blue Chew and Chubbies, support the podcast, and use that hashtag Chubbies with a Chubby.
There you go, guys. As far as what else we have on tap, Will Ospreay having to rebound after his loss to Swerve Strickland, taking on Daniel Garcia for the international title is on the line. Robert, did you hear the report too that Will Ospreay wanted to do the favors for Swerve, so he didn't get the notion as this transitional champion? I can't remember where that was reported from, but that is something I heard. Did you hear the same?
That was from Fightful Select. I happen to know that outlet.
Go.
Very well. SRS reported that Ospreay wanted to show that nobody was above doing the favors for the champ. And that's cool. I just don't think that would have been my immediate move after giving him the international belt, personally. But I understand the idea of, all right, maybe I feel like I'm overshadowing this dude a little bit too much. Let's put him over as the world champion. I think that's super cool. I think that he loses nothing by losing to Swerve, who hasn't lost in this calendar year. So, it's just Swerve's time. That's a really cool moment. I think that that's awesome that Osprey was like, yeah, let's do it. Uh, but Dom, can you pop up this comment here from
Sure.
Jay?
Which one?
From J Roy J.
Okay, here we go.
He says he's behind, but that I'm pretty confident we won't see Ricochet. I just said we wouldn't
Oh,
see Ricochet against Jeff Jarrett. Has anyone seen me and Ricochet in the same place? Brother, if I could do the stuff that Ricochet could do, I'd have a lot more money in my bank account. And I'd also say that in order for me to be Ricochet, you'd probably have to merge me and Dom because I'd need that shaved head look. And
I got that down.
merge the two of us, and I think you get one solid Ricochet.
But no, still minus the athleticism though.
Still very much minus the
We don't. We might be even worse if you did that. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I just think it's awesome that Osprey did that, to be honest. And it speaks to him being a team player, being a leader, an ambassador to what AEW wants out of all this. And it really furthers that point home. I think that's great. And, I think in turn, I know this wasn't his intention, but I think that in turn kind of elevates this international title. You can kind of reestablish this international title, make that the focus for Osprey, make that the focus for people challenging Osprey, and just bringing that forward, moving it forward, making it mean something. And heck, I know too, there could be the option to have Daniel Garcia go over tonight, and because he's been vying for that. And
I would honestly, because
would you?
Daniel Garcia deserves something, and I don't think he beats Osprey. I don't think Osprey loses twice in a row. At this point, I'm guessing Osprey's probably gonna fight Max in Wembley.
I think so too. They obviously teased that, and I think that would be a great one. I think that's the appropriate one, to be honest. I really do, and I would love to see ultimately. Hey, I would not by any means be upset if Jeff Jarrett challenged Swerve Strickland in Wembley, but I think the big money match is Danielson taking on Swerve. So
I think they're gonna end up if I had to put money on it right now, I'd probably say it's gonna end up being Max Osprey, probably Danielson, maybe McGinnis. Maybe he wants to do the McGinnis match. Because I think they're gonna do Hangman Swerve.
That's interesting too.
I think they're gonna say that's our big feud. They had this wonderful Texas Death Match in November at Full Gear. I think they're gonna try to do Hangman Swerve at Wembley.
It'll be interesting coming out of this show to see how much interested I am or others are after it's said and done, because the wild card really is a pivotal point to how maybe this show and AEW is going to develop and build to All In. Like who they decide to put into that role, what's going to happen next. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, it's different. Like when you're asking, like, what would you like to see versus what you think you'll see? Because I'd like to see Danielson wins the belt and then drops it to Darby in Tacoma at Wrestle Dream.
Wow, you're playing it all out, Robert. You're long-term booking.
Because I think Darby Allin is he's like the spirit of the company in a way that I think should be championed sooner rather than later. And that's also a Washington match, and I know Darby has said he wants the match with Danielson before Danielson's done. And you really have to start thinking in terms of like, this dude maybe has a dozen matches left. How do we position these in top spots? But then I think, well, that fan base probably will go nuts for Swerve Hanger. So Swerve Hanger is probably the way they're going to go.
Yeah. It'll be intriguing. I'm intrigued for tonight. It'll be awesome to tune into after the fact. I won't be able to do it live, but that's because I have other obligations. And part of it involves Robert Defelice. Today at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can check out Straight Talk with the Boss, Magnum TA, and Greg Gagne. We will be covering Andre the Giant is the Hope.
We always hope to get to Andre.
Yes.
I'm not on camera for that one. I'm behind the scenes. I'm producing. We always hope to get to Andre, but I'm almost certain we'll talk a little bit of Monday Night Raw. But most importantly, we'll get your questions in as long as you head over to the One True Sport YouTube channel, because
That's right.
that's what that show's driven on.
Head to OneTrueSportTV.com or FourHorsemenNetwork.com, and you can tune in live, interact with Greg and Magnum as we go along on the show. It should be a lot of fun. And guys, if you want to stay a little bit more on the fun, keep that ride along while you watch Dynamite. We got right down the middle with Bill Alfonso. He's returning to One True Sport. You can check that out at One True Sport TV. That'll be live too. And Fonzie loves interacting with fans. That's like his favorite.
There's also probably a giant discussion
There
on
is.
that as well, and I'm also slightly involved there, doing a little bit of the research.
That's right.
So go check out all that stuff. You know, One True Sport is really such a nice collection of just everything everybody loves about wrestling. Very much in the same vein of ad-free shows, and I think that's all anybody wants to do, right? Everybody wants to just watch wrestling and enjoy it, and enjoy the fandom of it, and that's what we're trying to do here.
That's right. Two great platforms, ad-free shows. Obviously, Rumor and Innuendo. We're live on the ad-free shows YouTube channel. When that aforementioned Jeff Jarrett is not doing it, scooping our heat, but we're also live on the Rumor and Innuendo YouTube, Working Stiff YouTube, WE Creative _ish on X. We're live on there, live on my X, live on Podcast Heat X and SE Scoops X as well. Robert, anything else you want to plug before?
Yeah, man. Follow me everywhere at Defelice. Like, I know I got a couple of follows on the YouTubes after yesterday's show. Yeah, just follow me everywhere. I want to branch out more and do some more of my own stuff. And of course, follow me on Fightful.com. Working there 7 days a week, helping Sean Ross Sapp break the news and all that. Check out MovieWeb if you're a fan of stuff beyond the world of wrestling. I'm also on MovieWeb, helping out with some of the news there. Check out Smart Out Moment if you would like more of my just wacky fantasy booking ideas. Smart Out Moment's usually the platform where I cut a little more loose and have a little more fun. But I just enjoy being here. I thank Dom again for allowing me to be the guest host for the third day in a row. You know, it's been great, man. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys soon.
Yeah. Hey, you never know. He might. I'm not going to fire Robert yet. I won't fire him yet because
no, at this point he needs to keep me in the back pocket.
Robert Karpelis may be back on Friday, but stay tuned, guys. Enjoy your 4th. Happy 4th. If you're overseas, still enjoy it anyways. Why not? You know, like
you are a real American. You do fight for the rights of every man. Slam a giant Samoan on the USS Intrepid. Come out of a helicopter, wear the red, white, and blue, whatever you do to celebrate the 4th. Have a good one, have a safe one, and enjoy wrestling. Wait, that's a different show.
That's a different show. Yes, we'll see you next time here on Rumor and Innuendo. Tough guy.
Oh.